Your number one request show, The Hit Selector. And I'd like to introduce my guest host of Sanyu Breakfast and veteran radio personality, James Onen, a.k.a. Fat Boy.
Hey,
Welcome to Celeb Select.
good to be here.
Now, James, you've talked about growing up in Japan, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And you speak the language.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to start off by introducing yourself and telling us what you do in Japanese. Yeah?
Are you serious?
Yes. Yes.
You're just gonna spring that on me like that.
Yeah, you said you speak the language.
Well, I'm rusty. How many years is it
It's
since
okay.
I've been there?
We can give you some time.
Okay. Now?
Mm-hmm.
こんにちは。僕の名前はジェームズ・オーネンです。仕事は毎日ラジオスタジオで番組の放送をしています。
Okay. So what exactly did you say? My name is James Onen. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I work in radio, and every morning I come to the studio to do my broadcast.
Okay, all right.
Man. Someone's going to fact check me, but I think I nailed it.
So how does it feel being on that side of the microphone?
Well, interesting. It's strange, really.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not always in the spotlight being asked questions. I'm always the one
Asking the question.
asking. So.
Okay, all right. So take us back. Tell us about growing up in Japan.
Okay, well, I was born in Japan in 1975.
Mm-hmm.
My father was working there in the embassy.
Mm-hmm.
My mother was there too. And so, I had, in my mind, the best childhood a child could wish for. It's really the best place for a kid to grow up.
Why?
Because there's so much fun stuff to do. So many cool parks to play at, friendly people, friendly neighborhoods,
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of cool cartoon shows on television,
Mm-hmm.
excellent toys to play with. Then the winter, the snow, it was just marvelous.
So you have amazing memories of that time.
Amazing memories. And, in a way, like I kind of feel divided about where my heart lies. They say home is where the heart is, right?
Mhm,
So,
yeah.
I live here and I love Uganda. But, there is a part of me that I think is still Japanese.
Have you ever been back?
I haven't, but I plan to go back. It's my dream. It's one of those things that I must do before I die.
So, growing up in Japan, we've heard a lot about your brothers. How many are you in your family, siblings?
Well, that's a tough question to ask an African. Because, most of us won't know till our father's funeral just how many of us there are, right?
Ooh. Okay, the ones you know.
No. But, we're 6, myself included.
Okay. No sisters?
I have one sister, our youngest.
Okay. Oh, she must be so spoiled.
Well, yeah, but she's tough. See, because, we grew up 5 boys and we were all pining for a sister. And so when she came around, we all were fighting for her attention. And so in fighting for her attention, we ended up irritating her and getting into fights with her a lot.
Okay, so you come back to Uganda. Which schools did you go to?
I first of all went to Kampala Parents School.
Okay.
The old Kampala Parents, back when it was still in old Kampala. And so I was there up from P5 to P7. Then I finished. And from there I went to King's College Budo, where I was for the next 6 years.
When I entered A-level, I didn't have any motivation. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life.
Okay.
I kind of was sort of jaded with school. And so I was kind of just sleepwalking through it. And so my grades were not very good. So I was not able to I could not be admitted in Makerere with the subjects I wanted. And so my parents decided then, you know what, you've qualified to do the course, but then maybe let's let you do it in India.
Okay.
So that's how I ended up there now. Oh, India. My goodness.
That's a long story. Okay, we're going to get back to India in just a bit. But right now, I'm going to ask you for your first request. Ladies and gentlemen, I watched the video of this song, so I don't know if that has something to do with this particular request.
Talk about a culture shock. People are about to have one now.
This song is called Mini Skirt.
Yes.
The group is
AOA.
okay. They're almost like a Korean version of Fifth Harmony, right?
You could say Korean version of the Pussycat Dolls, maybe.
Yes, yes. So why did you pick this song?
It's because right now I'm really into those girls. I started listening to K-pop. I really got into Korean pop music about 2 years ago by accident. I landed on a video, and then I saw another, and I'm like, damn, these people are really, really good. And by the way, it's no accident that videos like Gangnam Style racked up billions of views. It's because actually these guys are very creative with their music. So I found myself going through all these K-pop videos, and this group more than the others sort of struck a chord with me in terms of their vocal prowess and also the gorgeous girls.
Thank you. Because I was going to report him just now and say, but you need to watch the video because these girls.
Yeah, go to YouTube now, look for the video for Mini Skirt, and you will know why I like it.
Here is the song. Sanyo FM, and right now I am chatting with Fat Boy, that's James Onen on Celeb Select. So when I mentioned India, you going to India, you laughed and you actually, he put his hands on his head.
Yeah.
How was India?
India was tough. Wow, it was a
Very, very tough place to live in. And, it just went counter to what my expectations were. I mean, I had thought that India was a very developed country, which it is in some respect, but it's one of those countries where everything exists in extremes.
Okay.
There's extreme wealth and extreme beauty and extreme elegance, and then on the other side there's also extreme poverty and extreme filth and so I went in there mostly having in mind some of the more nice aspects of it. And so when I was confronted with some of the realities, like right from the airport, beggars littering the streets. I mean, forget the beggars we have here. We might have a few on Kampala Road, but there, man, right from the airport, the most disadvantaged, the most desperate people, just, man, it was just a culture shock for me. So, but then, I got the hang of how things work there. The people speak English, so it was easy to get around. The weather was also not easy. Summertime, it would get so hot, sometimes bordering upon 47, 48 degrees Celsius.
And we're complaining like today, we're like, oh my God, it's so hot.
Yeah.
I think we're okay, right?
Now, the biggest disappointment, I think, was I thought it would be the environment would allow for more socialization. But the town that I went to, which is Bhopal in central India, is very conservative. So actually, Indians and blacks were not mixing much.
Were you not allowed to mix, or it was just like
It was sort of frowned upon. Parents didn't want their young people hanging around us too much. They thought we'd be a bad influence. As for the girls, forget it. You weren't going to be able to talk to any because there, they'd risk ostracization and things like that. So if a girl was going to talk to you, it would have to be when no one was looking. And you could tell they'd want to talk to you. They'd sometimes just sneak a hello when no one was looking. And it would be sad because you couldn't take it beyond that. Otherwise, who knows what her family would do to her. And, you can see some of that here also. I guess people don't mingle as much. Maybe it's a cultural thing.
But I think we're seeing a lot more right now of mixed families showing up than probably back then.
Yeah, there was a lot more scarce. And to be fair, like I said, I was in a rural area, semi-rural area, Bhopal. In the bigger cities, there was a lot more mixing going on. Delhi, Bangalore, and Mumbai.
Okay.
Yeah.
So were you dating when you were in India?
No.
Not the whole time?
The whole time.
Because I've heard tell of some pretty crazy parties that used to happen in the Ugandan community.
Okay, I got a girlfriend in my third year.
You see, there it is.
Just one, and it was not by choice.
Huh?
I mean, I didn't go out and to try to get a girlfriend.
Are you trying to say she vibed you, as people
Somebody
say.
took an interest in me, yes, and
Okay.
I accepted.
You accept it.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. I hope she's not listening. I'm sure she tells the story in a completely different way.
Oh yeah, I'm sure according to her version, I must have been the one banging down her door, right?
I was thinking about that. Okay. Well, now I'm going to ask you for your second request. This one from Irene in Tale.
Yes.
Go down.
I like it because there's a line in there that just makes me laugh all the time, and it goes, "Yeah, the way you touch my body, one of these days you're gonna kill somebody." I'm like, whoa, bravo.
Go down.
The way you touch my body, oh, one day you're gonna kill somebody. So you know, say sikulabye, mbera ngari mo luzungulule.
How did you join radio? Some of us know the story, but for people who don't, how did you get into radio?
Well, I returned from India with my degree in accounts, and I sent applications everywhere, and I wasn't hearing back from anyone I'd written to. And so for a while, I was just sitting around doing nothing, and I felt like I was doing badly. So I just happened to be listening to the radio one night, and I listened to some guy doing one of the late night shifts here at Sanyu. I forget his name.
At the time. Okay.
Yes. And, I was like, come on, if this guy can get a job on radio, certainly I can.
I'm actually really happy you don't remember who that was. It's not a compliment.
So I promptly went up to Sanyu FM. At the time they were in Naguru, and I spoke to Nash, who was the program director, and I don't know what it was about that era, but few people were actually interested in working for radio. Either I think the career, it was not viewed as a good career to have. It was
a perception.
It was a perception that it's where failures and losers went and drunkards. And to be fair, maybe some of the early people in the industry led credence to that stereotype.
No names.
but that was kind of the perception, and so it was a no-go area. And I got there, and they were very welcoming, and they were eager to listen to what I had to say. And so they told me, okay, fine, then we're just going to do a voice test. We're going to record your voice and see what you sound like. So I did that. I sounded okay. And then they told me that they were going to put me on a show to be trained. And then they told me, so here's what's happening. There's one other person that we have here who we're thinking of hiring. So it's going to be between you and this person. We only have one slot. So you and this person, you tussle it out. Whoever is better is going to get the job.
Yes.
So I'm like, who is this person? Then one day I'm there and I meet this shy-looking, light-skinned,
Wow.
bubbly, noisy, confused girl.
Did you say confused? Oh,
She
my.
looked confused.
Oh, wow.
And I said, James, so meet Angela. She's called Crystal. Oh, I see. Hello, Crystal. How are you? And then that's how I met you. So I knew basically you were my rival. It was going to be between you and me. There was that one slot, and one of us was going to take it. Now, I was desperate. I needed that job pretty bad. So I was determined to destroy you. I won't lie.
Now it comes out.
I was like, I'm taking this girl down. I need this job because I was doing so badly. I was desperate. I was broke. And you were just some kid in school doing it to pass time.
No.
Right?
I needed the money too.
So I'm like, this girl is finished. And so we I think it was a 2-week probation.
Yes.
And then when time came for them to choose the one person, it so happened that one of the DJs that was on leave, a guy called John Miles, brother to Peter Miles, who he was doing the drive show at the time.
Coco Banton.
Coco Banton. So he was supposed to come back and take up the slot that I think one of us was doing. Then one of us would get booted out and the other retained. But now he decided to not come back. And so
we both got hired.
we both got hired. To this day, I don't know, Crystal. We'll never know.
Who they'd have chosen, eh?
Who they'd have
but
chosen.
we're both still here, so I don't know what that means. Okay, so you get onto radio. How was your family when, like, your dad found out at the time? Were they supportive or?
My father didn't mind so much. At the time, he wasn't even in the country. My mother, though, she was like heartbroken. She thought my life was over. She kept imploring me to take my papers to people here, people there, this uncle, that uncle. How about you try studying for a master's? You know, so she had bought into the idea of radio being something that dropouts did. And to this day, she'll tell me, "So are you still gonna do that masters? Have you given up on it?" And I'm like, "Come on, mom." At this point, really, you're still on that. Although I think secretly she's proud of what I'm doing. She just won't admit it.
Yes.
But I'm quite happy with the stature that the job now seems to have. Like,
Okay.
it's now considered to be a respectable profession.
Yes,
many
it is.
many young people are coming from university looking for careers in radio, and you know the industry has matured to the point where it can be rewarding, that you can earn a decent living doing this, and so it's no longer the thing that drunkards and dropouts do. It's now a thing that respectable people do. And I think, you know, people like you and me and others, you know, our peers on the other stations, you know, I think we deserve credit for lifting the industry from the state that we found it to where it is now, where when you say you work on radio, people think you're a serious person.
Yes, it's a noble profession.
Yeah.
But there was a point where you gave in to the pressure and you left radio
Yeah.
to pursue a more corporate life. What happened at that point in time? Where did that pressure come from?
Well, actually, I felt like doing something different. I don't know.
Okay.
It just happened. I just felt like doing something different. And an opportunity came up. And I had thought initially that I'd be able to do both, but it turned out that that wasn't possible. So I decided to go the corporate route, which, by the way, I think was a wonderful decision on my part because it exposed me to a new realm.
Okay.
And I know how the corporate world works. And particularly if you're in media and advertising, there's no quicker avenue for learning corporate culture than working in an advertising agency. Because you're dealing with everyone from marketing to finance to the top decision makers in any company. And so you sort of understand how the system works. Now, when I came back to radio, I found myself willing to relate to people.
And to draw from those
To
experiences.
draw from those experiences. So I know what it's like to have to deal with an IT guy or an accountant who's holding your check, or sitting in a board meeting where people are talking rubbish, or to have to wake up and write memos and all of this stuff. It's like the few years I was away doing that allowed me to experience that life, which ended up helping me, I think, to be able to relate to people.
Okay. So now when you look at your career path now, are you happy? Do you have any regrets?
Absolutely not. I'm very happy with how I've lived my life. I'm very happy with what small mark I've left in this world. And right now, I'm just trying to live my life to the best of my ability.
Okay.
And it's good.
We're going to get back to that, how you're living your life in just a bit. But now to your next request, Tiwa Savage. If I start to talk, man, it's just so African. If I start to talk,
Oh,
this song, Tiwa Savage, Dr. Sid. Why did you pick this song?
I love it. It's just it speaks to the musical side of me. I think technically it's a masterpiece. The chord progressions, the way the melodies flow. Tiwa Savage and her melodies also. She's great at harmonizing. My goodness. So in my mind, this song just encapsulates everything I like about contemporary African pop music.
Okay, so here it is, If I Start to Talk.
If I start to talk, the thing where I don't take my eyes, see we no go where. My brother, we no go.
Now, how you live your life. That's where we're going. I'm told that at one point in your life, you were very saved. Very, very saved.
Yeah.
Do you respect people who are very spiritual, very religious? I guess that is a question, because a lot of people feel that sometimes it's like there's no respect for that side. Do you?
I do respect the the meaning that religion gives to people in their lives, the hope, the fact that it in many ways acts as a moral guide for people is something. Now, and by the way, this is a new stance that I have. I used to be more antagonistic towards religion.
Yes.
I had that phase where I thought the world would be better off without religion. But then over time, and the more I've thought about it, I've realized the crucial role that religion plays in forming societies, in creating harmony. So even removing for just a moment the question of whether or not the tenets are real or everything, but just in terms of what it does for communities and societies, it's almost irreplaceable.
Okay.
And if you are to remove religion, it will only be replaced with something else. I think deep down, man is a religious animal. We need to have a set of ideas to cleave to.
Yes.
And so if you remove Christianity, it'll be something else.
Okay.
And what you're seeing in the world today, as it's continued to secularize, particularly in Europe, you're seeing a hunger for deeper meaning. And people are turning to all kinds of strange things to find meaning in their lives, from social media to selfies and all other habits, drugs, which was a void that religion used to fill
Okay.
for a lot of people. So I can respect religion on those grounds.
Speaking of social media, one of the decisions you made quite recently was to get off WhatsApp, off that platform. You're
Yeah.
very active on Facebook,
Oh yeah.
but you decided to step away from WhatsApp. Did someone make you do that?
No, no one in particular. It's just I said to myself, 2016, going into 2017, is there one thing I can let go of? Yes,
Okay.
WhatsApp.
WhatsApp.
So I just wanted to lighten the load going
How
into
long
the
has it
next
been?
year. Now 2 months.
2 months,
Yeah.
and any difference?
I
In your
feel
life?
so happy, so relaxed. I didn't. Wow, you need to understand. You will not know what kind of pressure and stress WhatsApp causes you until you get off of it. In terms of, being accessible every second of the day. I feel like you're robbing yourself of your identity and your personality when you put yourself out there like that. You need to be able to disconnect from the world. You need that moment for yourself. And I think by being on WhatsApp all the time, essentially, anyone that wants to talk to you at any time can reach you. Not only that, you are expected to respond immediately from people that are making basic inquiries, to those who may want to meet with you or to talk to you or to argue with you or to send you pornography or whatever it is.
Or forwards or clips or that you've already seen. So
Yeah.
you feel that it gives you were giving too much of yourself, too much access to people, to your life.
Yeah. So when I got off of WhatsApp, I mean, for the first 2 days, I was like, wow, maybe someone's trying to reach me with something important. But then I realized, no, they're not. And those that had important things to say to me called me to tell me those things.
Okay.
And I just feel better. I don't regret it.
Now, another thing that you are well known for is pretty much your stance on women, especially when it comes to relationships. You always seem to be saying, that women, given a choice, will always choose money and status or stability over love, for example, right? You always say that. And I'm sure you've been asked 1,000,001 times, why do you hate women? I don't think you hate women. I'll say that. But why? Why do you feel so strongly about women in that light?
I think, I feel passionate about things where the truth is not being told. I like truth. I strive for truth when it comes to anything. So when it
But
comes
aren't
to
those generalizations?
and
there's always
but
an
you see, but
exception.
generalizations, but the meaning, the term generalization already implies exceptions exist. So a generalization isn't an absolute. So if I say men love sports, that's a generalization. And if that were not true, if generalizations didn't apply, then the advertising industry would have no use. It exists because marketeers understand that different demographics have particular tastes that are different from other demographics. It is not an absolute correlation, but if it's a man between 25 and 35, there are certain things they are expected to like. And so, if you're handling a marketing budget, you can know how much money to target to what demographic and what message to craft.
Well,
You do this by generalizing. You will
Okay.
not target every single man, but you're casting a wide enough net that you will be able to reach as many people. So when it comes to gender-based generalizations, it's the same. I mean, of course, there are exceptions to the rule, but what speaking about the general behavior of women and the general behavior of men. And the fact is, when it comes to long-term commitments, women specifically are looking for stability by way of resources and jobs and money. This is a fact.
Okay.
If it's love, just sort of the passion of the loins, then yeah, they'll look for whichever guy gets them excited. But when they're thinking about who to settle down with, women are not stupid.
Okay. So, still based on a lot of the things you've said about women, especially when it comes to relationships, one of the questions that was put forward to be asked is, have you had your heart broken?
Everyone has had their heart broken.
Was it really bad? Because some people think that maybe your heart was broken so bad, that's why you don't like women.
Well, the thing is, I love women. It's just, as opposed to other people, I understand them. Yeah. You can't hate
I'm not
something.
sure you can ever understand women.
You can't, but I do. You can't hate something you understand. I can't hate a lion for wanting to kill me. I can't hate a mosquito for biting me. I understand that is its nature. So my best course of action is to coexist with mosquitoes and lions in this world. I must learn to adapt to their behavior, and so that I can reduce the risk of being devoured by the lion and bitten by the mosquito. But we're all here to share this world we live in. So similarly, and this is not me saying women are like mosquitoes or lions, but this is me saying that I understand that they have certain proclivities, which are fine. It is in their nature to have them. And I have my own as a man. We're not perfect. So how can I modify my thinking and my expectations so that I can find myself in the best relationships?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you've also made your stance on marriage very clear in the past, but you've been in a long-term relationship, which confuses very many people. Is there something special about your lady that makes her different from the general?
She's the best. She's so amazing. She's
Is she
unbelievable.
listening? No, seriously. How has your relationship been? Has it been a smooth ride? Has it had, some difficulties? Because when you are one of those people that comments on relationships a lot, like you do on your radio show, like we all do, people also want to know, what about you? Your relationship, how has it been?
I mean, it is.
How long have you been together? Let's start with that.
Well, wow. 3 years.
3 years now? Okay. And how has it been?
Good.
No ups, no downs?
Of course, there are ups and downs. In every relationship, there is one, whether it's between friends, family, workmates, or intimate partners.
Based on this relationship that you're in, what have you learned about love and men and women?
Well, see, the thing is, what helps me is that I understand myself. I know who I am. I know what it is that gets me excited. I know what it is about me that makes me happy. And I know enough about her that I can do things for her that will make her happy or that will make her excited. Of course, you cross paths, have disagreements here and there. But when you're mature about it and you both manage your expectations, actually, the ride will be a lot smoother than it is for most people, where they go in clueless, expecting all kinds of unrealistic things, and then get the shock of their lives. I think
I agree with that to
the
some
key-
extent, managing expectations.
Yeah.
So when something really good happens, it surprises you and, it's a bonus. Is marriage on the table at any point in time? It's a
let's talk
straightforward
about-
question. It's a
let's-
straightforward question. Have you
let's talk
considered
about
it?
let's
Yes
talk
or
about
no?
let's talk about marriage. What is marriage?
I'm asking about you. Is marriage ever going to be an option? Yes or no?
Depends on how you define marriage. Yeah, you have to be specific about these things.
No, I'm talking about marriage in the
You know,
traditional sense.
because here's the challenge that I see happening with a lot of people today, particularly women, is that what they mostly want to have are weddings.
Okay.
When you hear women say they want to get married, actually what they're saying is they want to have weddings. Most women in the modern age don't have an affinity for the traditional meaning of marriage. Few women want to stay around the house and look after kids and chase after the husband. Most women want to live independent lives, pursue their dreams, their aspirations,
But I think marriage is more about
get
a
out there
lifelong commitment
and
to this one
be
person.
who they want to be. And look at the staggering divorce rates of today.
Yes, but it's more about the lifelong commitment to this one person. How you do all the different things is
That's
about
what I'm
that
saying. So
commitment.
how is that lifelong commitment defined? Or what, how can I say, what certifies it as a lifelong commitment, that you've spent hundreds of millions in a big ceremony? Or is it about how you feel about the other person and how that person feels about you and what your goals are in life and if those goals are in sync?
True, but
That's-
marriage doesn't
which is
have to
where-
be about hundreds of millions. It could be a simple
Oh, are
going
you
to the
kidding?
registrar. You could go to the registrar.
My goodness. Now they
There are
don't
many-
even just
there are
do
many
wedding
couples who
meetings.
do that.
Now there's even wedding meeting launch.
But you said there are exceptions to the rule in every situation.
Yeah, well, let me ask you this. If I gave you a parachute and told you it has a 70% chance of failure, are you going to treat the parachute as an exception and use it?
Depending on how much I like risk and if I'm an adrenaline junkie, chances I'll be like, okay, let me try this out. Okay, but
I
we
guess
have to wrap up. We have
It's
to
about,
wrap up.
I think it's about, at the end of the day, it's about being practical and it's about being realistic and it's about you being true to yourself. And if you can find someone with whom you can be true to and they can be true to you, I think the specific permutation that the relationship takes is irrelevant.
Okay. Well, we have to wrap up. Thank you so much for coming on Celeb Select, James. My last question would be, you recently turned 40. So if you could go back and talk to your 20-year-old self, what would you say? What have you learned?
I would say, yo, young James, you're going to grow up to be a seriously awesome dude. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Seriously now.
Yep, that's what I'd say to my 20-year-old
Seriously?
self.
Nothing that, no nuggets, no advice.
See, I guess the thing
Because,
with
I mean,
me...
a lot of young 20-year-olds right now listening to you and they're thinking, okay.
Yeah, but I'm saying the thing with me is, and I don't know if it's that I've been privileged enough to do this, but I've not been one to not do what I want. If I feel like doing something, I have tended to do it. I wanted to be in a rap group. I started one. I wanted to play in a rock band. I started one. I wanted to be on radio. I went and I did it. I wanted to do... So every time I've wanted to do things, I've gone out there and done it. So I'm not someone that lives with very many regrets about things I may or may not have done. It's that if I've wanted to do something, I've done it. And so right now in my life, there's just one more thing left on my bucket list, which if I do it, I'll be happy to go, happy to leave this world.
Okay, so your advice then is, so people should just do what they want to do?
If you're able to, yeah. I think a lot of times we procrastinate, and I think what keeps people depressed is what if? What if I had done this? What if I had done that? But, sometimes you just have to take the risk and do it. And, I'm accused often of being a contrarian, but that's only because I tend to be the kind of person that will say something if I feel like saying it, and I will do something if I feel like doing it. And that way, let me tell you what happens. When you rest your head on that pillow that night, you are at peace because you're yourself and you're true. You've not had to pretend about your feelings or your thoughts on anything. And sometimes the things you believe will be very unpopular. But if you're sure about it and you believe in it, you will have no regrets and you'll be at peace with yourself.
Okay. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for
I
having me.
really enjoyed having you.
Yeah.
And your last song is one that is very special to you. It holds special meaning for you. Because of You by Neo. Why the song? What is it about the song?
I won't go into details. Can I just send it out to my madam?
Okay, I guess listen to the words in the song. Okay? All right, James.
All right, thanks.